Live, and today we have a guest named Dave William. He's a founder of Nomadx and also like other companies that he have founded, like Blinq 360 and other search engine marketing field. Like guys, let's welcome Dave William. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good, John. How are
you
you
doing,
doing?
man? You
Yeah,
called me.
I'm
I was
doing
just
really,
coming
really
back.
fine.
I was just coming back from the
And
beach from surfing, and I saw your invite.
okay,
So thanks
okay.
for joining here.
Okay, it's really thrilling to have you in our community, and you're such a great experienced guy. I mean, really, the company that you have built with Ollie, with the Nomadx. I mean, it's totally inspiring. Like, it's really great. It's a growing company. I see it every single day, and the things that you're doing in real estate as well in Portugal, like it's really great. So now. You have created lots of different companies. Like, how did you get into entrepreneurship? I'd really like to know that.
I guess I've always been an entrepreneur, and I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. So
Okay.
I started my first company when I was in first grade. So just been like it's been in my genes ever since then, and I'm always starting businesses. So whether it's mowing lawns or washing windows or doing search engine marketing or social media, yeah, it's always been something I've been very interested in. So I didn't really start formally as like a entrepreneur, the real formal business where I was really trying to scale it until like 1998, when I started my first company, which was a search engine marketing company, and very much like the early days, before Google was even around. Google really wasn't on the scene until at least 2000, 2001. And even with Google, we were one of the first agency customers to ever buy ads from Google in the early days. So I've just been a pioneer in all the spaces that I've been in, and so I've had a couple exits in businesses that I've started, and yeah, I just really enjoy the entrepreneurial world. I really enjoy working with entrepreneurs. I enjoy working with people that like taking risks, and I like getting into new industries in their very formative stages before there's many players in the market, so I can help kind of you know kind of figure out the best way to address the industry without a lot of kind of biased perspectives. So yeah, I always like going into new industries where I don't necessarily have a lot of experience, but I think it's really interesting to figure them out and apply new technologies to those industries.
All right. So basically, so you were telling that you were from an entrepreneur background, and you liked being in these different companies that you have built. Okay. So where does this drives comes from? Like to be in a certain company, new industries, and to make it successful, and then start again. Where does this drives comes from?
I think you have to really enjoy the experience, and you have to feel very passionate about what you're doing. So even beyond passion, something you feel very obsessed about, and you see a great opportunity to address it with your skill set and with your resources, and you feel like it's a good fit. For me, it's almost like a romance or something. You really feel like this strong attention and interest in the business, regardless of how much I make. So I never really go into these businesses really trying to make any money. If anything, I'm just continuing to invest in the business, almost as if it's like a child or something, and really just get very excited about growing the business, hiring the people, really scaling the revenue, and then ultimately having an exit, which hopefully everyone benefits from. So that's kind of my journey. I'm more early stage startup person in the very, very early stages of industry. And then after reaches a certain stage, typically I like to get out, because I'm not really a manager. I'm not an operator. So it becomes more and more difficult as these businesses get bigger and they require more capital, and the industries get more competitive. So I tend to like to get in and out in like a 3 to 5 year window typically, and not stay in the industry too long, because I feel like it just, as these industries go through waves, there's more of a chance of you not succeeding as bigger businesses with more money get into these industry segments.
So you feel that there is no passion at the time, or you feel like you don't have like good that thing or a good stability in that business. So what is the reason that you quit on that?
I mean, typically it's a great opportunity for an exit. The other situation is we see the industries heating up, or there might be a big industry event. So when I sold my first company, Google went public, I think in 2004. We sold our company in 2005. So we were really riding that wave of the search engine marketing space. And then with our social media business, We sold that in 2012. I think Facebook went public in 2011. So yeah, we like to get in very early. So if you look at the space we're in now with Nomadx, and you look at what's going on with Airbnb, Airbnb is yet to be public, but we expect them to go public the end of this year, early next year. So we're definitely riding that wave, but differentiating at the same time. So trying to be a lot different from companies like Airbnb and kind of take away from some of their market share and outmaneuver them in certain segments of their industry.
All right. I mean, that's great perspective. Like that there is something that you find that things will go down, or something that you find that things will not stay as usual. I've yet to understand about this fact what did you how did you know that which company is gonna be succeed, which company is gonna do better, and you invest in that? How did you know that?
I mean, it's a matter of taking a look at these industries, looking at trends that are going on in the industries, having getting some experience in the industry. So a lot of times just starting off without jumping into the technology right away. So working in these industries from a service perspective for at least a year and really understanding the industry and seeing where the opportunities are and where I feel like my interest and match is best in the industry, where I can differentiate. And then typically I'll focus on that. A lot of times I'll have to do things that I don't always want to do in the early stages. So sometimes to get to the final objective, you have to do things that you don't always want to do in that first year or two, but just to help the business survive. But after a certain period of time, yeah, I've really had the excitement of the growth. And for me, I just sort of lose interest in the business over time and let other people with a lot more experience take over for me. So I kind of know what my strengths are, and I try to stick to that as much as I can.
All right. And so can you tell the reason why most entrepreneur and you might as well lose interest in a business at a certain time, and where is that point that you feel that or any entrepreneur may start their journey, may start as a business, but what is that thing that caused them to lose the interest and leave it? What is that? And do you think, yeah?
I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of, for me, I like running the show. So usually after we exit the companies, I don't have the same opportunity to be the leader, although, I do like working with very smart people. So my strength tends to be more in the strategy and then more on the sales side and going to conferences and finding new business opportunities. So usually that's what I end up doing afterwards. And then after a while, that just gets exhausting, and then I'm ready for something new. Yeah, and usually just ready to take a break. And typically what we do is after, my wife and I, we typically travel a lot. So after my first startup, I took a year break. After this last startup, I took about a 4+ year break. So, it's a matter of like, for me, it's all about taking time off, really trying to assess where your interests are and not really moving forward until you have that strong conviction. It's like almost like a marriage or something when you get in these businesses. It's such a commitment. And if you have to really put everything into it, where you have to have that sense of passion. If you don't, then it's difficult to succeed.
All right. So you just see your business like your marriage, like it's like what or something. Like it's like if you lose the love or connection, something like that, then most probably that is the reason. I mean, lots of people really need to understand why they're feeling that lack to leave it. What can you suggest for the new entrepreneurs that even though like they feel lack of interest or something like that, do they need to continue with the passion that they have thought that they need to build something massive, or they need to go for something else?
I think it's really important just to have alignment. So some entrepreneurs are just lifestyle entrepreneurs. All they care about making money, having a nice lifestyle, working a few hours a day, whatever it might be. If that's your objective, that's a great business. But if you're a lifestyle entrepreneur trying to scale a company, there's not going to be a match. But if you're a company if you're someone very interested in scaling a company, maybe going for venture money, maybe going public, a lifestyle business isn't going to be for you. So I think first you have to really understand what are your personal strengths, what are your interests, what are you most passionate about, and really try and find alignment around that. And then also with the people that you work with. So culture is a big part of all the businesses that we start, really trying to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people like yourself that are not always like yourself, but people that are very passionate about entrepreneurship, have been entrepreneurs themselves, have experimented in startups before. I mean, you're typically not looking for the Fortune 500 executives. You're typically looking for these super smart, scrappy, entrepreneurial type people. And that's just the way I am. So those are the people I like to hang out with. That's the energy I want to create in my companies. I want people to feel that I really care about them. We're on a journey together. There's something more to this than just about making money. And so, that's a big part of it for me too, is trying to make it something more for the people that are part of the business than they would typically find at any normal company. So we try and do things to really differentiate ourselves and make it fun for the people that work with us,
Wow, that's great. That's great. That for somebody who's doing this journey, it's really great to not only focus on the money, but also something differentiate. Like you keep creating that uniqueness. And how long have you been in this? I mean, how long did you doing this entrepreneur things and all? Like from starting from like when you were a kid, or did you feel these things after when you graduated, and then you found that thing to create more companies, things and all? When did you found this passion of this entrepreneur? How long?
I mean, I've pretty much had it my whole life. So I feel like, I've been an entrepreneur. I even started a small company when I was in first grade with some friends. I've had lawn mowing businesses. I've had window washing businesses. I've had internet startups and everything. So I think I see myself more as a digital entrepreneur in the digital age. Really my entrepreneurial spirit and everything I've accomplished really occurred, post around the post.com timing. And I typically do really well following a recession. So I always think like post.com. Yeah, post.com, we did really well. And then post 2008, we did really well. And I would expect, coming out of this recession, there's a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs. So now's the time to disrupt things. And now's the time, if you're thinking about making a change, or thinking about making a slight pivot or focusing more on something, now is definitely the time to do it and make those investments and really, put in the sweat equity, because a lot of the bigger guys are having problems now. And the smaller companies were more nimble and will be able to outmaneuver them. So now's the time to really execute as an entrepreneur. It's in the next 3 to 5 years, I think, you're going to see really great opportunities. So if you're a little bit tired, take a break, but get ready to really get started, because this is really, everything that was created has pretty much been wiped out except for the real thriving industries. And it's leaving a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs.
So mostly for this COVID moment, what you're telling, mostly
Yes.
for this things that is going on currently. And I mean, you're telling that these things can be a golden opportunity for the startups or entrepreneurs.
Yeah, definitely. For any entrepreneur out there, or if you have an interest in entrepreneurship, now is the time to get started, because everything is just being leveled. It's like a sandcastle getting hit by a wave. Everyone's pretty much having to start over, except for the businesses that are really thriving in this environment, and it's great for them. And there's going to be a lot of success stories coming out of that. But for the rest of everyone else, it's the time to make an adjustment, refocus, and really get your businesses on track where you can be super successful, because now is the opportunity. We're going through a revolution at the moment, whether we realize it or not. Businesses are catching up to technology. Life's going to change forever going forward. The way we travel is changing. The way we live our lives is going to change. So now is the time to take advantage of that,
Okay. And what is your how did you choose people to be in your business? How did you hire? Or what is your strategy among choosing the people to do business with?
I mean, for me, mostly it's just about connections through the industry, meeting people that I really like, people that I see in the industry that are very passionate and doing great work. And, I don't typically go out and put a job posting out. I'm typically looking for people that I think are talented, and then I try and get them over to work with us. So I'm not typically looking for people that already are looking for jobs. I don't want people that are looking for jobs typically, unless they're coming after me and they're being pretty aggressive about it, and they're showing initiative. I think a lot of people don't show enough initiative, but there's easy ways to kind of, if you have interest in reaching out to the CEO and really demonstrating your interest, and that goes a long way in a startup, because it's hard to find great people, because a lot of people are scared to work at startups. So you need people that aren't afraid. You need people that are willing to take an adventure and ready for a lot of change and highs and lows, and kind of ready for an experience, really.
So wow, I mean that's really amazing. This is the first time that I'm hearing that you be with those people, like talented people, or you don't post a job offer or something like that, and so this is pretty fantastic. And what do you think the future of online business in this after this COVID-19? What do
I
you think?
mean,
The vision?
it's going to be massive. So I think no matter any sort of digital remote business, it's going to be huge. So I think the faster you get those skill sets, the more marketable you're going to be, and more freedom you're going to have in your lifestyle. So now is the time, whether you have a business, you're thinking about starting a business, to start building these skill sets, because it's the future. You know, the people that don't build these skill sets are going to be left behind. You know, they're going to be out to pasture. They're going to be like the cows and the horses, you know, when we got automobiles. So you got
Yeah.
to evolve. You got to keep evolving, and the digital wave is here, and it's happening very, very quickly at the moment.
I feel that as well. Like lots of people who are used to be an outside a market or a seller, they're all moving to this online business and this like growing things and all. And yeah, lots of people learning these things as well. But do you think that more people are coming to the online business, and would it not create a like too much things are I mean there when there is too much in quantity, the things is less valued. So would it not affect the online business things? Because lots of people moving in. So would it not decrease the price market value of the online goods and all? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's all about differentiation and specialization. So I think, I mean, it's gonna be difficult to compete with Amazon, but if you're an expert at one thing and you're the best at it in the industry, you're gonna fetch a high price, you're gonna get a lot of business. So I think ultimately, like what I think is being super specialized is important more than ever at the moment. And the people that are specialized are gonna be the ones that really get the best results. They're gonna get paid the most, they're gonna get largest market share. You know, those are the most successful companies that I see typically. I mean, you do have some companies like the Amazons and these huge businesses, but they've been around for ages and they're tough to compete with. And a lot of it's based on price, you know, so they're already so far ahead of the market, but you can work with them, you can sell through them, and it can be a gateway to get your business started.
Okay, what are the top few skill set that anybody who want to start their business in online or right now at this moment that really need it? Can you tell that as an entrepreneur, as a startup, as a newbie? What are the top few skill set
I think
that
just having experience doing startups. So I think like I would say go out and work with a few different startups. If you go to one of the incubators, even if you're working for them for free, get out there. It's like dating, meet a bunch of the companies, get a bunch of experience, and then the one that you really like, you can pick that one and focus on that business, or you come up with a bunch of ideas and you start your own company. So I think the main thing is just to get out there as fast as you can, and then also start working on your own business ideas. You're running through ideas. The first one you come up with probably isn't what you're going to end up doing anyway. So you just want to keep coming up with ideas, talking to people about the ideas, working the ideas. You know, it's like a piece of artwork or something. And then once you have one that you feel like I'm very passionate about, I'm in love with this idea, the team, the industry, then that's the one that you want to focus on, you know?
okay, that's great. And like it's our passion, growing the passion in the momentum, like being with that, engaging with that, and something that's clicked, and being with that thing, right? And there is no specific like skill set or something like that that everybody needs to master something like that, right? What you're saying is
Well, I think
growing with the
like,
flow.
well, for me, like my background is I had an accounting background. I studied accounting in college and I have a CPA. I worked at Price Waterhouse for 3 years. So that was very good. And then I got an MBA for 1 year in marketing. And this was all during the dot-com period. So I would definitely like, for me, the education was very valuable to me, and getting these degrees was definitely like super valuable. But I think if you can take two skill sets and bring them together in an interesting way, so not just being an engineer, but an engineer who understands marketing, or, you know, marketing person who understands accounting, or you're just bringing different skill sets to the table, because that's going to make you a more diverse CEO. Ideally, learn how to sell. I feel like that's the number one thing for entrepreneurs. Practice selling. Don't be afraid to learn to sell. You know, you're going to be the best one selling your own product. If you're the engineer, just try and simplify things. Forget about all the details. Just pick out the top few features that you want to talk about. Keep it simple. People can always ask you for more information. So yeah, I think it's like selling is probably the number one thing, or being a great engineer and finding a great sales partner. Ultimately, I think it's like sales and operations and technology. So if you're able to hit on those three areas really well, typically the business will be very successful. But selling
That's
is very, very important. Yeah, because you're always going to be selling
sales.
employees. you have to sell employees, you're going to sell investors, you're going to have to sell the company, you're going to have to sell, to bring on vendors. So selling becomes a part of everything you do as a CEO, really.
Great. And yeah, is it really true? Like a CEO has too much workloads, and a CEO don't get to sleep much. A CEO has a really terrific life. Is it true?
I mean, you have to like what I said before, as long as you really like what you're doing. And I think if you have an understanding of when you need to take breaks or what your cycles need to be, like for me, I could work really hard for 3, 4, 5 weeks, but I definitely want to take like a week or so just to totally relax and regroup and be more creative. And then I can get back into the groove again. But for me, I just can't go 9 to 5 every day. Like that drains me. 9 to 5, it's like I just lose interest. So I've got to be very intense periods, and I need periods of a lot of relaxation. And then exercise, I feel like, is very important. It's a lot of times overlooked because you're just busy. Maybe you're entertaining clients, you've got meetings, you're stressed, whatever's going on, you have a family. But I think, yeah, exercising and trying to keep your health in check is super important as well. And then just spending time, make sure you celebrate the wins and you enjoy yourself, because I think a big part of this is trying to have fun. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make more money, or trying to have a certain lifestyle. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just try to have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and the destination will happen naturally. But don't get so caught up in where you're trying to get to. Really focus on, just trying to be really good at what you're doing at the moment.
So love that thing. I mean, that's the being and with the people, and also taking care of that for yourself. And you mentioned that you don't work 9 to 5. That means that you have your own time to work and also your time to take rest. I mean, you don't follow that most work society or other companies really preach about. A CEO work about like all the time, like only get 4 hours of rest. And that's not true, right? Like Elon Musk.
I mean, I think it's during some periods it is true. So I think as a CEO, you might have a month or 2 or 3 months that's like that. You could have a couple months where you could be kind of light on the work, depending how the business is doing. And you have intense periods where you've got to be very intense. You might be dealing with layoffs, or you might be dealing with employee issues. You might be trying to grow the company. You could be suffering cash flow issues. Who knows what's going on? But I think, yeah, being a CEO, you have to be willing to kind of get involved with all sorts of different things. And you can't be afraid to make the hard decisions. So sometimes you do have to let people go. Sometimes you do have to make these tough decisions. But to be a CEO, that's your job. So whether you like it or not, if you don't do it, you're not going to be successful. So this is just part of the job. So I apologize, Gunjan, but I've got another call. I've got to jump on here.
Okay, it's really fantastic. I mean, it's already time. And Dave, really fantastic to have you here in this community and share this massive value with us. It's really helpful. And yes, we'll speak to you again soon. And it's really great to have you in this community again someday. So, guys, if you have any questions, drop in the comment box. And really, have a great day, babe.
Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for being.